G'day and welcome to Aussie Vision. We have just seen the first semi-final jury show, which is very important because it is obviously 50% of the vote. So we're going to run through how some of the acts did, who really lifted, who smashed it, and of course, most importantly, Liv, how Australia went. So we saw the live tape of Australia. What did you think of it?
Loved it. Great. I think the way that they knitted it in, it worked really well. And basically at the end of the performance, they kind of like zoom out of her and then show her on screen in Rotterdam and then kind of pan to the crowd just to make it really clear. No, she's not there, but it sort of hits the feels. You're like, it's like she's there in spirit. I like the way they did it.
Totally, and I think she looked amazing. I love the way they shot it, and also her vocal was really good. I didn't hear any cracked note that Montaigne keeps talking about. I thought she nailed the vocal. Best one yet.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I think generally the vibe, the aura that they were going for with the song really came through, and I think it was really great. Yeah.
It's a performance Australia can be proud of, and where the cards fall now, they fall. They've done the best. They put the best foot forward here. All right. Well, that was Australia done. Thumbs up there. Let's move on to who kind of smashed it out here. Malta, Destiny. Is there any surprise? She did a cracking performance.
No, and it turns out that she actually was given a second run, and I think that's what it just is a testament to what a performer she is, because most of the press centre, none of us noticed anything was wrong. So obviously she was just nailing through it and going through it, even though something was wrong. But yeah, she really smashed that vocal. I would not be surprised if that topped the juries easily and got a whopper televote as well.
Totally, yeah, good point there. There were 3 acts who got another run because of technical issues. It sounded like there was a sound thing that people were a little bit off. But as you say, Malta wasn't the first run through. So that's how good it was. She nailed it. She looked good. The vocal was really, really good. Yeah, I agree. That looks like a jury winner maybe from this one. Let's talk about Ukraine. They also had a second run. Always solid. They always bring it. She was great and great visual performance.
Yeah, it's certainly eye-catching. And what I noticed is it is a little bit of a kind of dark song, but like they've got a lot of energy and light in there. I think they could have very much fallen into a trap of giving us something a little bit more, eerie, but actually it works so well having all this light. Vocals were smashed. It was in the best way possible, obviously. And it was fantastic. Absolutely cracking.
Really good. I can see televote and jury appeal there. And next one, no surprise we talk about this with the juries, it's Sweden. Tuse, I think he really stood out in his running order. I feel like when he came on, they were like, here's how you do it. Here's a well-produced, absolutely smashing song. And I just think juries will lap that up. He sang it really well as well, I thought.
I agree. I think that's the jury eye catcher for that first half of the semi. I think he really set the bar very high for, well, this is how you do it. Yep, I agree.
Yep, smash it. I think they'll get a very good jury score to underpin an easy qualification. Let's talk about Russia next. Another solid performance. Well, actually, I felt probably lifted in her energy with the live crowd there.
I agree. Yeah, no, she really stepped up to the plate. And I got to admit, having the crowd there, having it all come together, it actually really hit me in the feels.
Really?
It stepped up for me. Even that little extra bit really did a lot for me. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Vocals on point, charm and quirkiness on point. The message, I think, comes through really importantly.
Yeah, it's hard to sometimes translate when it's a different language, but I think what they say on screen, you don't have to understand what she's saying to know what she's saying, which I think really helps in televote. But for jury, I think it was a really good performance. Let's talk about some of the ones that lifted here. Lithuania next. They've always been really good, but I thought, again, live crowd just took it to that extra level, I thought, tonight.
Yep, I agree. Vocals on point, energy on point, and opening was always going to be a really good spot for them. And I think that they came out high, and that meant that the juries were going to sit up, pay attention, and I think that they've done as much as they could have.
All right, one that we've been a little bit harsh on during the rehearsal week, but we put in here as a lifted and a really good performance, Croatia, Liv.
Yes, I would say that was easily her best vocal performance that we've seen so far. I feel like that finally it's all kind of come together and it really made sense, and now it's a really good cohesive package. There were some big vocal moments in there. She nailed it. This is going to have some jury love, I think.
Yeah, this is the first time, and we've always loved the song. It was always like the ingredients there. Will it come together? Tonight's the first time she nailed those notes that I've heard all week, and that's a great time to do it in a jury show. I thought her running order is fantastic as well. I feel like the show really gets going from Cyprus onwards with Croatia as well, and then I think she just stands out at that point. So really good night for Croatia, and I think this gives them every chance of getting through. All right, let's go on to Norway next. What do you think of Tix?
Yeah, no, I think that was probably the best vocals I've ever heard from him, especially that big note at the end. I went, yep, that's him. That definitely isn't backing. He nailed it. And no, generally, I think he really lifted this performance and has given the jury something to bite into.
Indeed. All right. Well, that's kind of the ones that lifted there. If we haven't, we're going to move on to the ones that may have fell down. And if we don't mention another song in here, it means they did a really good job tonight. There's people like Cyprus and Belgium and all sorts of ones that did really good, but we can't talk about every song. If we don't mention it here, it did good. All right. The ones kind of falling down a little bit, or maybe I thought everyone was very good tonight, but maybe ones who didn't stand out, maybe on a jury perspective. I thought Ireland maybe didn't smash it out tonight like they may have hoped to.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie is, I want to say that the paper effects and all that technical stuff was really good tonight. And those were things that were a little bit messy in the rehearsals that can distract, but I think that stuff was on point, which is great. Vocally, I think there were areas where she was just struggling a little bit, and maybe just the connection down the camera wasn't always quite there, but I think it was probably her best run yet. But I do worry that it wasn't quite next to what she was next to. It won't necessarily stand out with the juries.
Yeah, that was my feeling. I didn't think it was a bad run. I just felt like with 16 songs, it kind of started to fall away a little bit. And I feel like maybe the connection was, I think it was like, get through this. And vocally wasn't too bad, but I think she'll be better for the run. And I think she needs a televote anyway for this song and always did with this staging. So she can definitely come out tomorrow and smash it and get a great televote score and get her through. But tonight, jury may just be a little bit down. Slovenia, I thought this was always a song made for the juries and she may have over-egged it a little bit.
I agree, yeah. I think, maybe it's just all the runs that she's had that maybe her voice is starting to feel it a little bit, but overall it was good. There was nothing wrong, honestly, but with such big other vocalists in this semi, it's just when you put them all next to each other, she did start to just fall away.
Yeah, and second in the running order doesn't help, and a few kind of odd spots in that, the catwalk thing, and she's kind of going, hey, Europe, and it's like, that's more of a televote thing. Maybe just concentrate on smacking out your vocal. But
yeah, and where the actual crowd is located, it doesn't really lend itself to the way she was pitching to the crowd either. But
just talking to no one basically at that point. And I thought maybe North Macedonia, her kind of rival in that vocal thing, did a better job than perhaps she may have, unfortunately. I want to mention Azerbaijan, not because it was a bad performance, but I felt like it was a little flat and probably isn't a jury eye catcher.
Yeah, I mean, look, she was always probably going to be more of a televote grab out of the two.
Exactly.
She did a technically great job, but I can't see the juries laughing it up.
Indeed. And the last one, Romania, they had an issue technically, probably the worst out of everyone technically having that problem, but came back. I thought she had an improved performance, but overall it's still kind of lacking something, and she still struggles a little bit towards the end of the song with the movement and her breathing and the vocal. So it was a better run through second time, but overall I still feel that might be struggling a little bit.
I mean, it's a very demanding performance what she's put herself up to, and kudos for trying to do something really, really hard, but sometimes it just wasn't quite landing, and I don't know how the juries will take it. Bits of it were really great, but bits of it needed a lot of work still.
Yep. Well, look, that's just our opinions. And as we said, if your song hasn't been mentioned or your country hasn't been mentioned, you did a great job, because what a show overall. Those 16, I thought everyone was really good. And God, this is the semi-final bloodbath, this one. Who knows who's going to make it through?
After seeing them all back to back, I was just amazed. I was like, yep, wow, this is a really great semi. I think with the rehearsals that we've watched, there's a lot of gaps between things, and it's not until you really stack them side by side do you think, oh, okay, wow, okay.
Great semi-final. It's going to be a great show. That's the most important thing. And we have Eurovision back. So thanks, Liv, for joining us. They're our takes from the jury, and we'll see how accurate they end up being when we see the results next week and the qualifiers tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. See you later.